Hi all, I'm Olly and this is Simply Stitchy, and in today's video we're going to be looking at a sewing machine from the 1950s. This is the Singer 20 or the Sewhandy. If you want to find out more about it, follow me into today's video. The Singer 20 or the Sewhandy is a design that Singer made for quite a few years. Although this one's from the 1950s, it hasn't differed much from the models that came before it, with a slight difference to bigger machines. The Sewhandy takes a size 24 by 1 needle, which is this one here. If I put that against a regular size 15 needle, just stick them on my hand so you can see them for a moment. There you go, that's the size difference. The smaller one is the size 24, and that's the same needle that the Singer 24 takes. To give you a comparison of the size of this machine, if we take a look at this is Dexter. I've got a video on the channel about Dexter. I'll pop a link in the description box for you. He's a handheld chain stitch mending machine. Now if you just pop him by the side of the Singer 20 for a minute, there you go, that's the size difference. Now unlike Dexter, the Sewhandy is actually made from aluminium. It's a metal machine. When I got this machine from eBay, it wasn't in bad condition, but it wasn't great either. Somebody had changed the thread stand for a screw, and they'd actually made the hole bigger so that they could get the screw to fit in there. So what I've had to do is swap that out for a proper spool stand, and it was missing the handle on the hand wheel. This is actually a wooden doll form that you can get from craft shops, and they usually come in a bag of different sized doll forms. It works quite well as a handle. And one of the nifty things about this particular Sewhandy is if you have a close-up of the hand wheel there, look, it's got arrows to tell you which way to turn it. Isn't that adorable? This, as I said, is a chain stitch machine. We just take a closer look at the underneath. There's no bobbin, it's just got this hook system. And what you'll also see underneath is this lever, which is in fact the stitch length adjuster. Now when it was new, this machine would have come with a G-clamp, so that you could actually attach it to the table so that it wouldn't move as you're sewing with it. But it's actually got quite a bit of weight to it, so it's fairly stable without the G-clamp. I mean, if we compare that, it's just one finger trying to push it over with this. That's the difference. I have another couple of toy Singer sewing machines to compare it against. This one is from the late 60s, early 70s, and this one's more up-to-date, modern day. You're probably looking at the last 5 years for this particular design. And if we pop the 1950 ones back in front of them for the moment, look at the difference in size. There are another couple of differences as well. This one, like I say, is a chain stitch machine, whereas this one has got a cute little vibrating shuttle bobbin. And this one, the modern day one, has got a needle guard. And it's also, both the more modern ones are made out of plastic. This one is battery only, and it has a foot pedal, whereas this one is battery operated, and it also has an electric adapter so you could plug it into the mains as well. Now I had a toy sewing machine when I was a kid. It was plastic like this one, and it wasn't quite so tall. It was a lot stubbier, and it came from the late 70s. But I can't help thinking that I missed out a little bit, because I would much rather have had one like this. And the reason for that is because, as we'll find out in a minute, this one has got a really nice stitch. I could never get any kind of decent stitch out of the plastic one that I had as a child. It was a bit like sewing with this. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to thread the machine up. So we're going to pop the thread on the thread guide, and yes, I know that reel's a little bit bigger than the machine, but hey, we'll persevere. Now the great thing about this machine is that it's actually number coded, so every part of the threading process has actually got a number on it. We have, if I can just separate those two out for a moment, there you go, 2 thread guides here, and what you do is you put it through number 1 first, which is the back one. There we go, and then you put it through number 2, which is this one, the one at the front. I'll move those out of the way for a moment. The next place that you want to thread it is number 3, which is right here. There you go. Number 4 is the tension discs. There we go. Number 5 is this little hole here. Number 6 is the little hole right on top of the needle bar. And from there we just go down towards the needle. Now these machines thread from left to right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to thread the needle. Now I'm using a needle threader, so I'm just going to put that through from the right to the left. And then I'll put the thread in it. Oops. I'll pull it through to the right. Let's see how well it will sew. Got a bit of fabric. This stitching across the top is actually the stitching that I did in the Dexter video. Again, the link for that is in the description box. Let's see if this machine can do any better. It's a little tricky to hold on to it and hold the fabric at the same time. It'd be a lot easier if I did have that G clamp, but hey ho. Let's see how we get on. To cast off with this machine, what you do is you pull some extra thread like so, and then you pull that extra thread through the needle. Lift it up a little bit and then cut it off close to the work. Now we're going to lift the press foot and we're going to pull it backwards. And there you see, it's secured. And let's take a look at the stitching. Okay, that's the stitching line from the side that we were stitching at. But as you know, with chain stitch, the decorative side of the stitch that you want to show the world, is actually the chain, which is on this side. Look at that. Now for a toy, that is some excellent stitching, and that's one of the reasons why I think I should have had one of these as a child. Look at that. And just to show you again that it's completely, oops, there it is, sealed. It's tied off at the start as well. Now if we compare that stitching to the stitching that I did on Dexter, there you go. This one's the Sewhandy and that one's Dexter. I got it a bit straighter this time, quite impressed with that. Now because I do have a few Singer toys, what I thought would be a good idea is if I actually compare the modern machines to the 1950s and see how they stand up. First up, we've got the one from the late 60s, early 70s. Now it should have a handle that fits in there, but it hasn't, so I'm turning it with my fingers. I think it might have a thread guide missing. Okay, let's have a look at that. It's the red one. It's not too bad. Can you see that? It's quite a nice, neat row of stitches. And the back. That one isn't too bad. It's done all right. Next, let's try the super modern one. Ooh. Bit violent, it's got to be said. Feed dogs, slightly ineffective. Oh dear, that's not going at all well, is it? I got 2 stitches out of that. Oh, it's not looking too bad on the back. Got a bit of a chain going on. Look at that. I can't help thinking that the kids of the 50s and every decade previous to that got the best, and all the generations that came after them got shortchanged. I hope you liked today's video. It's just a bit of fun really. Let me know in the comments if you ever had a toy sewing machine, whether you had one like this or one like these two behind me. Let me know how you got on with them. If you did like the video, give it a thumbs up, and why not consider subscribing to my channel using these links coming up any minute now, or the ones that I'll pop in the description box below for you. Whichever video you go and check out next, I hope to see you back here for the next one. And in the meantime, whatever you're sewing it with, embrace your creativity and have fun. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.